So we'll just wait in for 3 more minutes, then we are going to start.
Frida, maybe as we wait for the 3 minutes, will you allow me to ask a question?
Okay, go ahead.
My question is regarding the issue I raised to you of the young surveyors. Since we are not voting for some of the council members, I thought it was something you should consider and request if we can amend the constitution so that young surveyors could be voting for the president and all the other council members who we are not voting for currently. I don't know how far you in, I had raised the issue to you. I don't know how far you pursuing the matter.
Yes,
since it's a forum for young surveyors. And yes, sorry.
Yes, it's a good idea to have the young surveyors vote for all the positions. That is a discussion that is ongoing, and once I have concrete feedback, I'll be able to address it. And thank you so much for raising it.
Yeah, but try and push it. We need to vote. It's our right.
Yes, we need to.
I don't think there's a reason why we should be denied to vote for the council members. So try and push it. If you are not assisted, just let us know. And then we lobby our numbers and see how we can amend it or push it to through the AGM.
That's for sure. Thank you so much, Jami. So we want to officially start our meeting, and I'll welcome Sharon Okoth, who is a member of the Young Surveyors Committee, to start with a word of prayer. Hi, Sharon.
Hi. Yes, we can all believe and pray before we start. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. We say thank you this morning, O Most High. Thank you, King of all kings, even for gathering us in this platform for the purpose of sharing knowledge. We say thank you and we give you all the honor. We pray, Ebenezer, that King of all kings, through the sharing, Jehovah our God, that you may enlarge our skills, that you may increase our knowledge through whatever we are going to be to share today. Indeed, as young surveyors, O Most High, we desire to grow. We desire, Jehovah, my Father, that we may move a step ahead. And now help us, King of all glory. We pray even for the speaker, grant him knowledge. Even as we are going to share, may your Holy Spirit be with us. We give you all the glory. We say thank you even for part of us who will be joining along the way. We give you all the glory. We say thank you. May you be magnified. May you be lifted on high, even in this sharing. For this is my prayer, believing and trusting in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Sharon. So welcome officially to our 4th Young Surveyors Baraza, and our apologies, we started a little bit late. We had another meeting in the morning that overran and took some of our time. So for the official welcome remarks, I'll welcome Gloria Awinja to welcome us.
Thank you, Frida. You've not given my full credentials.
Take 2. So welcome, Gloria Awinja.
No, I'm joking.
Let me introduce you. Gloria is a council member and the chairperson of the PR and editorial committee. Karibu, mama yao.
Thank you, Frida, though it's not enough. Anyway, good morning, everyone. If you're in a hall, as people say, I know people would have said good morning back to me. Thank you, Frida, for giving me this opportunity to open this forum for the young surveyors. Thank you so much. I'm seeing we have about 75 of 1 to reach 80 participants, which is a good number on a Friday morning where everybody should be working. Thank you also for this topic for today, the employability and career security in the 21st century. It is very relevant for our time now, for especially this hustler nation that they really promised young people to give them jobs. We're just waiting to see. They told us to give them 1 year. So I believe most young people are really hopeful
Frida.
to see what the government will do. When you talk about employment, I believe it is one of the most important things in a person's life. The way I can say it is like you are born, then you work, then you die. I don't know if that is the summary of a person or of a human being. So you tend to lose direction when you are unemployed or when you are underemployed or overemployed. I don't know if you know these terms. I remember my lecturer back in the university taught me so. So it's very important to have something meaningful that you're waking up every morning to go and do so that you may earn a living, or just for your passion, if so. So as I've said, it's very important to be employed. And as I've said also, in the current situation that we are in, the rate of unemployment, especially for our youth, is very high. And we're really hoping to see what the government will do about this situation, because if you have more unemployed youth, the crime rates always tend to go high. But some of us, because we are learned, we are a bit lucky because we might get employed. But then one thing I'd like also to tell you is the moment you are employed, remember the day that you will be unemployed, which is not very long. Today you are 21 years, before you work, before you know it, you'll be 60 and you'll be retiring. So today I'd really like to press on the issue about pension, that as early as you are employed, do not think that you are very far from being unemployed. Always start saving as early as possible for your retirement, so that you may enjoy your retirement time, and you shall not be a burden to the young ones that you might have had in your youthful years. So remember, as soon as you are employed, to start saving for your pension, and even saving for rainy days. I was told in my earlier times of employment that you need to have at least 6 months of saving. If your monthly expenditure is, say, 60,000, for example, make sure you have a bank account or in a money market or somewhere where you have 60 times 6, 360,000 lying untouched, just earning you interest, so that in case your employer tells you your services are no longer needed here, at least you have the 6 months that that your lifestyle will not change, which will help you not to be stressed. And then it's an enough time to help you look for another employment if you left in a good way. And number 2, also do not just look in Kenya, spread your wings. The surveying profession is not only needed in Kenya, so do not sit down and say that I've not gotten an employment in Kenya. Spread your wings. You can bring a pro forma, we changa for you, you fly out, and then you can be able to make money outside there. Something else I also like to mention about this is when you have the privilege of being employed, give your best to that institution. Do not look at it as a means. Okay, it might be a means to an end, but try, and when you are there, to give your best. Make sure you have high integrity levels, make sure you work hard, make sure your attitude is the correct one, and make sure you keep improving your soft skills. If you're not in LinkedIn, please join LinkedIn and spruce up your profile. And you can even do those 2 few skills. They normally bring up soft skills depending on your area of expertise. So try, in your free time, try and do a course or 2. It will sure help you in your next job assignment or when they want to give you promotion. So that said, I'd just like to thank you again, Frida, for bringing up this conversation. We have a very good speaker today, Mr. Nashon Adero, who is the founder of Impact Borderless Digital. I'll be here in the room, sitting at the back, seeing the noisemakers and the ones who are not contributing. So kindly listen up, and at the end of the session, ask questions on things that can help you to be able to present yourself well to employers. And if not, how do you even start your own company now that we've done a technical course? These are some of the things that I believe our speaker will be speaking on today. And without much ado, I wish you a good listening. I wish you a nice time, and I'll return the mic back to Frida, your chair, to take it up from here. Thank you, Frida.
Thank you, Gloria, for that very elaborate welcome remarks. So we also have the presence of some council members. I see we have Ayub, you may unmute and salimia wananchi.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, even for the opportunity for us to say hi. Yes, I'm a council member. I chair the property management chapter. I'm also the vice chair of Estate Agency Distribution Board. And still, I'm also a young surveyor, still under 35. Just to encourage you to, of course, empower yourself, and also for the ones who have a related background, you need to register as an estate agent. You don't need to be a full member for you to register as an estate agent. So we'll be looking forward for you guys to come and apply. We will call you for an oral interview and be able to issue a certificate if you are successful. Then the last comment is on what Gloria has said. I want to encourage you guys to join circles. Have at least 2 circles, and ensure that you are saving at least 25% of your monthly income. That will really help you. As you age, you'll use your circle savings to secure loans so that you're able to invest even as you progress in your career. So be encouraged. I know times are hard, but try to live within your means and have some surplus save specifically in circles. And as you choose a circle in which you have your friends or members, so that as you take facilities, you're able to guarantee each other, but you're able to grow with your friends. Thank you. Back to Frida.
Thank you so much, Ayub. I see we also have Jesse Kihoro. Kindly unmute and say hi.
Frida, thank you and good morning, everybody. I think young guys are full of energy, full of belief, and most of the time they have the world in their hands. And I believe you guys are at that age where you have the luxury to make mistakes. You can also take risk that some of us cannot take. And as I have heard Gloria tell you, the glory is out there. It's not only in Kenya. You can go out, explore the world, go practice surveying outside the country. There are a lot of opportunities that are there for surveyors, young surveyors. You know, once you start having a family, once you start probably your own farm, you may not have that luxury of going, closing the farm and going outside and working there. So when you're not attached, when you can just carry your bag and hop into a plane and go to Seychelles, take those opportunities. Sometimes it's not about the pay. Sometimes it's about the experience that you get out there. When you're young, also take the opportunity to further your education. Don't wait until you are burdened or you're burdened with family task, young children, you have a spouse that you have to go back home to go and further your education. And basically you don't need a lot. You just need some few. You can pay in instruments once in a while. Higher education loans board nowadays supports learning in higher institutions, and this will serve you in your later days. All in all, I would like to wish you all the best. as you listen to the presenter today. And probably I also need to apologize for being responsible for delaying your engagement today. Frida, I hope you find somewhere in your heart to forgive us, the estate agency chapter. We took a whole 30 minutes of your meeting in the morning, but I think that was necessary. So as I sign out, the chair of the estate agency chapter of the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya, a member of Estate Agency Registration Board also. And as Ayub has said, you're all qualified to be registered estate agents. And I know in one way or another, you will all be involved in selling a plot here. If you are a surveyor, you will come across somebody who will tell you, subdivide this land for me and get me buyers. So when you're doing that, you're doing the work of an estate agent. If you're a valuer, you will go and value a property somewhere and somebody will tell you, can you sell this house for me? Take the opportunity and register so that you can practice legally. And you all know that registration is not normally an issue until a problems crop up. Somebody does not want to pay you. Then somebody goes wrong with the transaction that you're involved in and you have to go to court to enforce to put a close to the case. That is when registration becomes essential. Because if the registrar is called upon to prove whether you are a registered estate agent, then you might be in a problem. So anyway, all the best and see you guys. I'll also be listening in the background. So please follow on, be attentive in the meeting. Thanks a lot, Frida.
Thank you, Jesse. And as we go towards starting our session, I want to recognize the presence of other members. We have the CEO, Madam Rose Mwaura, who is joining us from ISK headquarters. We also have Caroline Migwi and Sharon Okoth, who are members of the Young Surveyors Committee. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Nashon Adero, who is our speaker today. Mr. Nashon, kindly say hi so that we can confirm we are together.
Hello, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, welcome. So our speaker today is Mr. Nashon Adero. Mr. Nashon is a youth mentor, a leader, and a speaker. He mentors with the Presidential Digital Talent Program as well. He is the founder of the Impact Borderless Digital, where he runs several programs on mentorship. Profession-wise, Mr. Adero is a geospatial expert. He's also a lecturer at the Taita University School of Mining and Engineering. Mr. Nashon is also a trained mentor from the Kenya Institute of Public Policy Research and Analysis. So just to tell you something extra that is not on the bio, when I was elected to this position, I remember Mr. Nashon was one of the people who called me, and he said that he's very passionate about mentoring the youth and that there are many programs that we can do together. Since then, I've seen him mentor some youths. He's participated in one ISK live chat that we had, and it is our pleasure, Nashon, to have you speak to us today. So the floor is yours. You can go ahead and mentor us. Asante.
So let me know if you can see the full screen.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. So thank you, Frida. And it is my pleasure once more to speak to the young people, and more elated to speak to the young people in the geospatial community, because that is where I belong. And today you have said rightly that it is the Young Surveyors Baraza number 4. And just let me know if there's any interference with sound, you can let me know so that we can have crystal clear recording. So we have the topic of today, employability and career security in the 21st century. So we are going to look into employability and career security and why it is critical and its uniqueness and the demands it places on you in the 21st century. If you like to tweet, you can use the Twitter handles for your Young Surveyors chapter, also for ISK, but you can also use the Twitter handle for Impact Borderless Digital and my personal Twitter handle, which is @Hopadero, so that we can enhance our visibility as a people who are together in pursuing to be change agents. Now, the tagline of my mentorship program is borderless impact without imposition. And that is why I named the program Impact Borderless Digital. We need to have an impact which is measurable. We need to be borderless in our mindset because that is the kind of world we are living in. And we also need to ensure that through mentorship, we attract the right material. Mentors are like magnets. I wrote that a few weeks ago, that mentorship is a selective enterprise. And like a magnet, it attracts the right material, the magnetic materials. So it is also an encouragement to mentors that you cannot mentor everyone, but your mentoring style, your contents, your skills will attract the right people to you. And those who are not attracted to you or repelled away from you are not necessarily bad. It is only that they need another kind of mentorship that they can respond to. So that is wise advice to mentors and also to mentees. To mentees, again, you must find someone you connect to very easily, organically, and one who appeals to your desires for skills, revolution, and making an impact. So much about the topic of today. So you can see that is Impact Borderless Digital. It is more than 2 years old now since it was officially launched as Impact Borderless Digital. It used to operate under a different name, but so far this mentorship series has been on for a decade. So some core values: diligence, excellence, and intergenerational responsibility. And I believe as we talk to young people today, intergenerational responsibilities would come out clearly, because we must ask ourselves, what are we bequeathing the next generation through our responsibility? It places a demand on us to be excellent in refining our gifts and also to be diligent. It has been hyped so much that we need to work smart, but we also need to ask ourselves, can you work smart without working hard first? So diligence is key. You must work hard, because practice, we say, makes perfect, but that has been challenged. We say perfect practice makes perfect. So perfect practice demands of you hard work so that you can be above average and make an impact and be a go-to person. So where I lecture is at Taita Taveta University. So if you don't know where Taita Taveta University is, as a geospatial expert, I've made a map there for you. And you can see, using this geographic coordinate system, where we are. This is the pin, Taita Taveta University, and not far from Voi town, about 7 kilometers from Voi town. This is the standard gauge railway line. You can see it. And Voi is one of the towns highly privileged to have the train station close to it. You can drive from Voi town to the train station in less than 10 minutes. And you can see it's a large county measuring 17,000 square kilometers, but over 60% of that is occupied by the Tsavo National Park. Very interesting for surveyors, geospatial experts to analyze land use and land use changes. We also have minerals, mainly industrial minerals and gemstones within Taita Taveta County. And that is why Taita Taveta University primes itself as a mining university, Kenya's premier mining university, with extensive collaboration with other universities of mining in the world, including Germany and Australia. So the Tsavo National Park, iconic, you can see animals in the background, very familiar. So if you visit us, you'll never miss a chance to see some of those iconic assets in our flora and fauna. So Frida has already done this part of introducing participants. We have youth from across Kenya, and I believe also globally, because this is a virtual forum, and we have youth within this community who are studying abroad or working abroad. I believe we have opinion leaders, some decision makers within civil society, policymakers, administrators, and youth mentors. Because when we are talking about mentorship, we also have to consider what we call peer mentorship, because you also need your peers as your mentors. But you also do need reverse mentorship, because younger people, people who are not as experienced as you are, can also mentor you in a way. So that is reverse mentorship. You can learn from them. Maybe they are more digitally fluent, and as such, they are the people who can help you to catch up because of a generational gap. So reverse mentorship is also critical. And then those who are senior to you, the normal mentors we know of, grand mentors, for example. So the train has been introduced, but I challenge young people to have what we call life's philosophy. What is your life's philosophy? Because that is what will help to aggregate your skills development trajectory, so that you say, this is what I want to do with my life, and hence feed into intergenerational responsibility. So for example, my life's philosophy is, my authentic duty is the excellent, responsible, self-driven, and selfless service of my refined gift to the world. So that is why I mentor, and mentors are not paid. Volunteers, they are volunteers. They are not paid, and we say they are not paid. Why? Because they are not useless, but they are priceless. So some forums you have heard before, you can see young people you can easily connect to from across Kenya. And today, these are the key elements we are going to discuss. You can see all the way from background to why we have this Young Surveyors Baraza. Number 3 should be fascinating to you, because we talk of employability, but how do you package your CV to market you? And what of interviews? Because once your CV has opened the door to you, maybe the CV was written by someone who designed it very well for you, but now you go to the stage of interview. And we have tested this one at Taita Taveta University. We have an annual scholarship program. The scholarship is awarded through funds from Germany, the DAD, German Academic Exchange Service. So we have another layer of screening young people. Apart from the written application, we also want you to appear for an oral interview. And the interview will help to expose any missing links, any weaknesses that were not exposed in the written application, because this written application, some are standard. You can also copy from someone can do it for you. So the CV is good, yes, but it is only opening the door to the arena of engagement. Now, once you've entered the compound, how do you make a case for yourself before the interview panel? And we are going to look at some 22 inescapable interview questions and how to answer them. Then the dichotomy between employment security and career security. And we'll end with number 6, point number 6, your passport to the world. And those who have spoken before me have emphasized that you must have this global worldview, that you are being trained not for Kenya, not for your home county, but for the world in this era. So you must have seen 4 V's of impact, and this one ties in with the message, the key message of today. These 4 V's, I say you must have a vision, focus on the summit, Is your vision in the geospatial community, for example, to be a top practitioner in engineering surveys? Or do you want to go more into unmanned aerial systems, or if you like, uncrewed aerial systems for gender neutrality in the terminology? But what of visibility? And this is where a good number of us fail. You think that by scoring well, your first class honors, upper second degree, it is good enough. No, you still need to be visible. So how do you network? How do you reach out so that your skills can be noticed and you can make space for yourself, even in key appointments in decision-making roles? And value, you must practice excellent and provide excellent teaching and research. And I would add practice, because it is not only teaching and research, we also have practitioners. Another area that needs more emphasis is volume. And here I refer to the critical mass. For example, if we are to ask ourselves today, how many specialist mining surveyors we have in Kenya? So we also need to look at areas that are still needy of experts and aim at encouraging young people to train more in that area and specialize so that we can have a critical mass. So those are the 4 V's that I am talking of. So some comparative metrics here, and why do we have them here? We challenge you as a young person, look at Africa, where we come from, or priority focus now, and look at how young Africa is, median age of only 19, compared to the USA only, which is 38, and 47 in Japan and Germany, and Kenya, like Africa, just 19. So in Kenya, it means 50% of the population is more than 19, and 50% less than 19, under 19, look at that. So we are dealing with a very young population in Africa, and you as young people are the future of the continent. What of, if I could add here also, we can reveal the statistics that 40% of Africans age below 15, but if you look at the global figure, 40% age below 25. So you can see that gap of 10. Again, the future of Africa is in the diligence, discipline, and responsibility of the youth. And these are some other, even when it comes to urbanization, you can see Africa is soon becoming 50% urban, if you look at this figure. So talking of organized development across space over time, and how geospatial technologies can be applied to ensure that organized development, you have a key role to play, because the future of Africa, like the world, is urban. The world is already more than 56% urban now, and Africa more than 43% urban. So the future is urban, and I'm showing this example. This is Cairo, Egypt. The night sky, you can see what is happening in terms of population growth and the need for organized development. So you can ask yourself, is it that we lack opportunities to be useful, or we are the ones not doing our best to refocus our skills development strategy? So again, in your daily interactions with other people, go broad in your focus in skills development. Don't just confine yourself within one sector. Know what happens in the public sector and how you can contribute in the private sector, in civil society. And in Kenya, for example, read about the national development visions we have. In Africa, for example, AU 2063, you have to read all this and then ask yourself, how can you network beyond your immediate borders? So international exposure also very important. And here I'm just showing the places I've been to for international exposure, so that one can be equipped to deliver during such mentorship forums with insights that go beyond your immediate nationality. And that is what we need if in this era you have to prime yourself as a true mentor. The world has become borderless, highly connected. So looking at the future of work, which is a key phrase nowadays, we are thinking of the future of work and how radical shifts will challenge your skill sets and the need for reskilling, upskilling, and what we call deep skilling. So look at this finding, which is was recorded a decade ago, that 65% of primary school pupils will be engaged in jobs that still do not exist yet. And that was published 10 years ago. So we can say that those who were in primary schools then, a good number have crossed over and maybe in the job market. And so the jobs that were there by 2012 are not being created yet. And it is true even now that there are new openings. For example, if you look at what is happening with automation, big data and data-driven digital revolution, as a surveyor or a geomatics engineer, you will have to be engaged more and more in data processing and decision support systems. But your knowledge of how data works, accuracy, scale, and all that should be able to elevate decision-making and policy development beyond what we call non-parametric policy making. Non-parametric means you just come and discuss. You don't have explicit metrics for tracking performance, but you as experts can come up with criteria that are measurable so that we can move into this space of parametric policy making. For example, if we are to transform the Nairobi metropolitan region, what exact parameters, measurable, especially explicit, so that we can say if we are going to increase access to piped water by 30%, it will not just be 30% within Muthaiga, 30% within Karen, but 30% spread across and giving priority to the areas that are more needy, so that as a geospatial expert, you can elevate policy development into the space I call spatial justice or geospatial justice. It is not only about the figures, the statistics, it is also about the geography and equity. So companies today are talking of DEI dashboard. What is DEI dashboard? We need diversity. We need to consider diversity. That is D. E is equity. We need to consider equity. And I is inclusion. You cannot deliver on this effectively without data and more critical geodata or geographical reference data. Looking at this quadrant of influence and the skills you need to develop, primary school, secondary school, tertiary level, and the marketplace. And then looking at the color coding, you will see some that are basic needs and some that are outstanding inequality and will make a difference for you. So look at the marketplace here. We need more of skills in volunteering, multilingual skills, creativity, people skills, leadership, systems thinking, fundraising skills, refined talents, innovation, innovative research and development. But come here to tertiary level, secondary and primary, and look at where we have rated those qualities and ask yourself, is your education system doing justice to your skills development and matching it to your talents, so that when you enter the marketplace, you can have high influence. For example, these qualities of super influence. So because Frida has the PowerPoint, you'll be able to study this quadrant more keenly later. But for now, you can ask and challenge yourself. Where should you move from routine focus to competitive quality and then outstanding quality? So again, people are talking of climate change. People are talking of net zero emission and meeting nationally determined contributions when it comes to climate change mitigation and adaptation measures. Now look at this example from Finland. This is a public library in Helsinki, Finland, and it is a net zero building. If you look at it, you'll agree with me that geospatial experts have contributed substantially to coming up with such organized development together with other engineers, even to ensure the orientation of the building can ensure maximum natural lighting during daytime. So mapping the path of the sun, the declination and all that, which are normal stuff for geospatial experts, should make for interesting indulgence and skills development in this area. So I'm challenging you as young people that don't think of yourself as someone who will just subdivide land and refer people to buy this house here and there, but you are critical to the net zero future that we are targeting. And this is where global attention is. We are critical to ensuring that we can have GS-based metrics for parametric policymaking. We are critical to ensuring that you deliver on green building initiatives and revising the building code. And look at this other example. So this is Hong Kong, for it to be organized in terms of mass transit solutions and to preserve the landscape. You need those technologies. For example, nowadays we are talking of drones and how they are transforming imagery-based solutions. So you can see you are all here as well in terms of 3D modeling, planning, and monitoring changes across space over time. This is not the SGR in Voi or passing through Voi, but rather an example from the Netherlands to facilitate animal crossing. So we have also attempted in Kenya, if you look at the SGR animal crossings, how they are constructed, but can we make them more green and environmentally friendly so that when it comes to animal passage and all that, there can be minimal interference. Again, that needs careful planning, landscape analysis, and all that is within your purview. When it comes to housing development, best practice, for example, nowadays we are talking of increasing population in urban centers. So we go for densification and high-rise buildings, but how do we ensure the structural integrity and how do we ensure that we can monitor them so that they can remain reliable and safe for human use all the time, including early warning systems. And these early warning systems must have sensors, and these sensors must be able to transmit information based on location for rapid response during emergencies. So much about that. I'll just pass quickly across some of them. For example, Slovakia, Germany, and now here I want to mention, even as we talk of increasing population, we must also realize that in future we'll be having the demographic pyramid shifting, and we'll be having older people. So it is not only about childcare, it is also about elder care. So look at this example in Germany. This is old people's home. So when people have grown so old, the government takes care of them to ensure that they have old people's homes such as this. And what are some of the key needs for such people? So if you're thinking of the future as young people, are you preparing for this future so that we can anticipate development and what the same requires of us? Yeah, so here I'm just saying that there's already made success. That is a mirage. You need to work on yourself, refine your talents. And here is why I talk of 4Ds. These 4Ds are diligence. You need diligence, you need discipline, you need to be determined. And don't forget dignity, how you carry out yourself determines a lot. It will determine whether you can get that appointment, even though you came third or fourth. Your dignity is critical to employers. And then the 3 Ps, in fact, we can even talk of 4 Ps. We have purpose. You must be purposeful. You must have principles. You must have passion, and you must have a plan. So 4 Ps. And then the 4 Vs which we have seen in that graph I displayed earlier: values, vision, visibility, and volume. And now going into skills, this research was carried out way back 2014 to 2015. And this is what it revealed, especially among the young people we have across Africa. It revealed that when it comes to emphasis on training, we have more on numeracy. And who can read the other one? Numeracy, which one is higher on the x-axis than numeracy? Skills, which one can you read so that I can know that we are together?
Literacy.
Literacy, of course, but look at the trajectory of impact on innovation. This is a survey that was carried out globally, informants, as well as young people answering. So the impact is less than 75%, as you can see. But look at the marketplace, what we need more in the labor market. For research, for example, we need people who have developed a keen interest and aptitude in scientific inquiry, in system thinking. And then we even need special intelligence. These ones, on this scale of 0 to 100%, have impact of more than 80%. Even communication skills, you see how it was rated, 86%. But look at the level of emphasis in the training curriculum that we have, below 50% emphasis. So we give more emphasis to these basic skills, but what we need more to impact innovation is lacking or is missing out. So the challenge here is we must bridge the gap. Formal education may not do everything, but we must bridge the gap through Young Surveyors Baraza and similar forums, which challenge young people to seek mentors and also be dedicated to their own skills development through self-drive. And nowadays it is easier because you don't need to look for libraries to read something from a book which was published and is already 10 years old, for example. You have the internet, the information superhighway. So it is easier for you to accelerate your skills development in a well-targeted manner. And we are talking of the knowledge doubling curve. It has been said that around 1900s, knowledge used to take 100 years to double. But by the end of the Second World War, 1945, knowledge was taking only 25 years to double. And by the end of 2018, knowledge was taking only 1 year to double. And that prediction by IBM is already pointing us to the near future where knowledge would just be taking a day or less to double, thanks to the information superhighway, the internet. And nowadays we are even talking of internet of everything. So look at that, lowering the barriers to entry into self-driven and laser focused skills development. So you cannot afford to rest. You must work hard and you must network with mentors. You must know what is happening beyond your local boundaries, beyond Kenya and internationally, and what it demands of you in terms of horizontal and vertical skills development. So again, what that survey revealed, you can see for yourself, that peer influence is not so much of a factor when it comes to how young people choose to pursue given careers, but they usually think of skills for self-employment. And I'm happy to mention that geospatial courses are giving our students that capability to go into the marketplace and be self-employed. But again, you also need that employment for mentorship because you need to learn under someone before you can have your own farm. And you need skills in people management, not just managing the instruments you have. So look at that again. It is also echoing what I've just talked about, the era we are living in and the future, big data, internet of things, or if you like, internet of everything in the future, cloud computing, even quantum computing. We are now saying that the world has entered the stage of the fourth industrial revolution, and it will keep changing. And it is a big difference from the first industrial revolution that was based on steam engines. Now we are talking of information technology, information revolution. And when it comes to the mining sector, at Taita University, I lecture mining surveys for mining engineers. And in the mining sector, we see what automation is doing in advanced economies. And we have sensor-based and robotics solutions, so that we have the need to train what we call human to machine matching managers. But again, actionable location-based intelligence is critical to delivery in that area. And when you talk of location-based intelligence, you cannot think of any professional apart from geospatial experts, and they are the key target of our topic today. So you'll read more about this when you get the PowerPoint, the types of innovation we have, and how you can challenge yourself to develop them, the kinds of intelligence we have, and how you can challenge yourself to develop them. And this one is also interesting as we move towards the two last sections where we are going to look at CVs and interviews. Now look at this. This is a recent survey of 2021, which was sponsored by this Access University of Ideas Competition for African Lecturers. And you could see, you can see gender parity in the way we targeted respondents from all over Kenya. You can see it was around about 50-50 when it comes to gender. The disappointing outcome here, you can see that when it comes to digital skills, we had a mean score of 16% based on 96 questions. And to summarize what it is saying, look at the median was only 13%. Their score on the 96 questions gauging digital skills was 82%. And this score was by a young person engaged in the geospatial industry. So that should make the geospatial community happy, because you have this huge advantage when it comes to refining your digital skills horizontally and vertically. So look at this. What it is communicating is that we may have the abundance of digital solutions. You have your smartphones, but we are not using them in the right way to impact the marketplace. One example I can give is that, yes, we have these smartphones as young people. We have the internet, we have powerful laptops, but can your employer give you an assignment as a fresh graduate to make PowerPoint and then have that PowerPoint ready for your boss to present it without reviewing it? How many people can do that? You may find the alignment, the spelling mistakes are there, yet we have spell check. So these are some disappointing outcomes that we must overcome. And this survey revealed it, that the hype of digital literacy would be just for entertainment purposes, but not for professional skills development. So I'm challenging you that you need to focus more on exploiting this gold mine of opportunity brought about by the digital revolution to go into project-based learning and problem-based learning. So when you are given an assignment, ask yourself, how can you do it better in Excel or in PowerPoint? Can you learn some new designs? And even with the YouTubes available, can you be disciplined enough to do that? And we'll see some common examples that you can install on your smartphone so that you can have better chance at competing against young people from other parts of the world when you are talking of a borderless mindset. So that was the age bracket. Again, you can see it focused mainly on people aged 18 to 35. And I believe the people are talking to 90% are within this bracket. Highest level of education you can see. And I believe the people are talking to are also mostly within this distribution. A good number, either university students or bachelor degree holders. And look at the skills development paradigm. You see most people identify their gifts before joining tertiary level. If you look at the percentage saying that before joining tertiary level, they had definitely identified their gifts, it is less than 30% here. And the rest saying either fairly, vaguely, or not at all. So I have to correct that statement by saying that most people join tertiary education level in Kenya before identifying their gifts. And so targeted talent development is receiving a lot of injustice. And so that is why mentorship has to come in and bridge the gap. And we should even do it at an earlier stage. So in terms of choosing the career lines you have, to our surprise, it came out that parents are the most dominant, apart from self-drive. So the majority were saying they chose themselves, that is 30%. But what of third parties? If it is not yourself, then parents come in at 17%, more than even mentors and teachers. So again, that is something that you should note down, even as you advise other younger people behind you, your siblings, on why you need to be exposed, why you need mentors in order to sharpen your talents targeted to the marketplace. So again, if your education or training brought out the best of you in terms of talents, look at this outcome. Only 40% saying only a bit, and you can see less than 30% said definitely yes. So if less than 30% say definitely yes, it means we have more than 70% that are not sure yet. So if it did, where did this happen? And you see tertiary level 26%, but even after tertiary level, a good percentage, almost 11%. But look at during industrial attachment and internship. So using this as a strong point, this is all 18%, that this industrial attachment and internship should not be taken lightly. So employers who are here should be happy to hear about what they have, the spaces they have offered for industrial attachment, for internship, are indeed benefiting at least 17% of these young graduates in terms of developing work-ready skills for the marketplace. So in terms of whether the skills you acquired in college are relevant to the current job market, again, the youth believe that those skills are relevant. Only 8% said not at all. And so there's rich ground here for mentorship at employment place, at workplace, in industry, in learning centers, to ensure that we can enhance the skills profile of our young people. So as I conclude this session so that we can go into the CVs and the rest, you must have seen in the outline for today that I had so many F's. And this is something I've learned and other people have learned, that you must be ready to volunteer. If you want to be an expert, a go-to expert, you have to start by volunteering your gift. So brands volunteer their gifts first for fun, for free for friends. Don't shy away if you are just working for free for your friends, for fun. Don't be too hard on them that they are not paying you anything or they are not giving you a good compensation for it. Use it as an opportunity to hone that talent. And once you have done it for fun, happily, for free, for friends, or for the community, I assure you that you will reach this maturity of full refinement and fruition. Then you'll be deployed for a fortune for farms, where fortune, means you'll get handsome compensation, a lot of money, and you'll be a go-to person. You won't have to write to them. You'll just hear them calling you that we have this problem to be solved and you're the one who can solve it, but you have to go through all these stages. So don't be mean with your gift. Use it to serve others, first for fun, for free, for friends, and then following full refinement and fusion, you will get deployed for a fortune for farms. So aspire again to digital fluency beyond digital literacy with horizontal solutions. Why do I say horizontal solutions? These are the common solutions or packages, computer packages we have. It is disappointing that young people overlook what they can achieve with the normal horizontal solutions on the market, such as PowerPoint, Excel, Word. They underutilize them. As I said before, that you get so many spelling mistakes on CVs, yet we have spell check, which means they don't even go ahead to select all the text and choose the language of proof and do spell check. They just write and send. And that is very disappointing to employers. This graph, for example, I created in Excel. It is not any special program. This is Excel. So can you challenge yourself as someone with the privilege of going through STEM education? You understand logarithms. Can you have a logarithmic scale and display to policymakers during COVID, for example, how the testing rate was varying across African countries and selected countries outside Africa, and how the web is either expanding or narrowing. And this is compelling enough if you can present the same to your employer during decision-making or brainstorming sessions. So that's why we are talking about Education 4.0 in the era of the fourth industrial revolution. Education has to go beyond. Someone is saying they can't hear. Frida, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Michael, please check your device.
Okay, so we are challenging you to move beyond digital literacy to digital fluency. And this is something you can learn from your mentors, those who have done it. So we talked of careers. Careers. Now look at careers. So the argument here is that employment security is fleeting. Why? Because the rate at which we are creating those jobs in government institutions, in the private sector, has not matched the rate at which we produce graduates from training centers. So is it possible to talk of employment security? And if you go into the employment space, even in Kenya, you realize that young people stay on a job for 2 or 3 years, then they move on to the next job. So that is why the central thesis here is that we cannot talk of employment security. We have to talk of career security. And career security here is you develop your skill sets so that we can say you have built an amazing career, maybe a career in land surveying, a career in valuation. So this career will make you a go-to person so that even when we talk of the gig economy, you can gig and you can work across borders. So what we are saying is that if you develop your skill sets in a way that you can be the go-to person, then it will not be about employment security, but career security. You'll have secured your career, and your skill sets as the currency of the marketplace will see you go from place to place to offer your services. And if you're a lecturer in a college, for example, beyond lecturing and the security of employment that you can say you have if you are employed on a permanent and pensionable basis, you can still find your knowledge being liquidated to solve problems for government, for private sector, for civil society. And that is the space you need to aspire to. So again, we need what we call transferable skills. And these are the market ready and future ready skills. It's not only ready for the current market, but also for the future market. And we have seen examples of that during the introduction, that we need to look into the future of cities, smart and green cities, and the skills development demands that trajectory places on you. So there must be anticipation and preparedness to solve problems not yet identified at present. That is why in research we talk of the known unknowns, but we also have unknown unknowns. So some of the skills, according to a recent LinkedIn survey, and also World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, we are being urged that we need to develop problem-solving skills. And these are examples that you can read later from this PowerPoint, and also self-management and people skills. So why self-management? Education, to be impactful and all-round, should not just be education as such. You also need to develop skills in empathy, or what we call emotional management. And that is why you need self-management skills. We also need exposure, and that is why we are talking of global citizenship. And we also need to be excellent with experience. The 4 E's will make you complete, apart from formal education, the first E. But look at technology use and development. We have talked of the knowledge doubling curve, and that knowledge doubling curve is technology driven, as we have seen. So, are you challenging yourself to move at a pace that will ensure that you catch up with current megatrends in technology? And what of space technologies? And I emphasize space technologies because if you read the introduction that was shared, it is very interesting in the space industry, and hence the geospatial and observation experts, that when people are talking of planetary existence, you in the geospatial and space technology community can talk of multiplanetary experience. And I gave a good example there of the last World Economic Forum. This Italian astronaut, a lady by the name Samantha Cristoforetti, has managed to stay in space for 200 days, 200 days. That is towards 1 year. And she was interviewed when she was in space. But from space, she was as crystal clear as she was inspiring. So the interviewers were on Earth in Davos, Switzerland, and it was broadcast on Radio Davos, Switzerland. And you could see real-time communication happening very well, crystal clear. And it means that even space technology and the space economy is expanding opportunities for you. I know there are some of you are crazy enough to think beyond the third planet, the Earth. So excellence in space technologies will take you there. And when we are talking of multiplanetary existence, when we are talking of the multiverse, when we are talking of the metaverse, when it comes to technologies, big data, artificial intelligence, information, and the like, you are the right people to work together with other experts and ensure that this can be as interesting as possible. Then let's proceed. Smart and hard work. I gave an introduction to this. Wise or knowledgeable. So as a young person, you can ask yourself what you are doing. How do you understand work hard? Hard work, sorry. Are you busy being busy or busy being productive? And we experience this in this age. You can be so busy being busy the whole day because of social media, emails attracting your attention here and there. But at the end of the day, ask yourself, how productive have you been? So are you goal-oriented or just task-oriented? So when you later on get this PowerPoint, ask yourself those questions in the 2 columns. Industry, 4th industrial revolution. We have talked about this, the future of work, organizational transformation, smart cities. For example, by the year 2050, we'll be talking of the world being 70% urban. So you'll get all this and you'll be able to ask yourself, what is your role in that future? How can you get involved in the new youthful challenge and resolve? Look at the problems we have in the world, not only in Africa, and look at these huge figures. And you're the people who must seek opportunities through skills refinement and give us a new generation of solution finders. So the youth agenda, we have talked about that. Some employers have problem with the youth nowadays because of generational gap. For example, we have the digital millennials born around this time, the netizens, and the generation alpha. These people are shaped in their worldview differently because of the kind of era they are living in. And that means we need to look for ways of ensuring self-management, reading more, and understanding the generational gap and what it means, and hence being able to work as a team productively. If you have read anything on team dynamics, you will appreciate that conflicts are inevitable in teams. There must be conflicts. For example, we begin with forming a team, then there will be a stormy session or stage, which we call storming stage. Then things will go back to normal, norming stage. And then after that normalcy, there will be what we call performing stage. All these are key, and you have to appreciate the stages for what they are. So if you are a young person, you are employed somewhere, note that the beginning could be so rosy, but then there is a storming stage. Know how to handle it. It will come back to normal if you exercise self-management, empathy, and emotional intelligence, and then there will be a performing stage. But you have to understand the generational gap and what they mean. Here, I'm just challenging young people. If you are appointed today to go and represent us in Egypt during the climate change conference of the parties 27, would you go there? And if you are asked about your knowledge about the continents and population, you end up saying that Africa maybe holds 50% of the world population. And I'm saying that these are things you can get easily from worldometers. If you Google worldometers, you will be able to get real, almost near real-time data on population as recorded and reported from various platforms. And you can see Asia alone holds about 60% of the world population. Did you know that? And Africa only 17%, but that share would grow because Africa is a fast growing continent, as you can see from these population growth rates, yearly change. The demographic pyramid of Kenya also attesting to the fact that the youth are the bottom of this pyramid. When we are talking about the youth bulge, we have people aged maybe 18 to 24, depending on their parents at school. And if we don't manage this youth bulge, we come up with what we call ticking time bomb. But if we manage it so well so that they can transition into the job market and get engaged through employment or job creation, then we can reap the benefits of what we call demographic dividend, because the active working population is to our advantage in terms of the share of that pyramid. So this is just now summarizing all that I've been talking about, and you'll be able to go through this at your own pace. And I've also talked about this, given examples of a national addressing system that we need for our countries to make logistics more efficient. And the youth agenda in Africa, you look at this transformation map from the World Economic Forum and look at the key issues at this energy level and the distributed issues at the outer energy level, and ask yourself, would you find an area there where you can develop your skills or further education? Again, youth perspectives in Africa, you can look at this at your own time. Education and skills development, we have talked about this. You'll be able to look at this and ask yourself, are you abreast with these issues and what can you do about them? Look at these metrics, comparative metrics on income, and ask yourself, can you move into this space of the digital economy and make a difference? And as we proceed, this one can also show you the problem or the organized development in some countries outside Africa. So you'll be able to compare the European sky, the sky over the view of a European city from the night sky and that African city, and ask yourself, what problems are there and what has been done different in those countries that you have not done. So I think this is the most interesting part for you. We want to look at your CV because it is the chance to make a first impression in the gateway. Without that, the door won't be opened for you. So your CV will open the door for you. So first, we get so many CVs for scholarship application, so many CVs for job application. The first thing I would like to talk about is the format. The format will show us whether you have been passionate enough, keen enough on ensuring that you communicate effectively. So your choice of font, for example. Are you still going with the tired font of Times New Roman, or for the progressive fonts such as Garamond and Cobel? Do you have a header for it? And many CVs, almost 90%, do not have page numbers, but that is something you can insert automatically in Word. So most people forget, even for big report, they forget to insert page numbers. And have you trained yourself so that if you have different sections with different pagination styles, you can have the same. And if the cover page do not have a page number, have you trained yourself? That is something you can do on YouTube tonight, and ensure that you don't present to your boss something without page numbers. And contacts and addresses must be there. So some people just present CVs. The email they give there is not well checked, so it is not the correct one. So when you send emails, you won't find them. The phone numbers they have there, they hardly use. And what of grammatical accuracy, not just the spelling, but also the grammar and the chronology. Some people begin with the oldest qualification, and then you look at the latest one, it's down there, you couldn't even notice it. Simple, but very powerful. Then when you go to your profile, some people exhaust us with career objective, but the employer is not as interested in your career objective, which could be selfish, not selfless. We want to see your profile summary instead, and how the profile summary addresses the job description. So please replace it with a compelling profile summary that is not recycled, but is tailor-made to address the job specifications you are applying for. Now, which skills and languages? Some people take lightly multilingual skills, but multilingual skills are also key in this era. So if you have studied some languages, apart from English and Kiswahili, and they're international, you need to place them there. Then this part is critical. Which achievements? Don't exhaust us with responsibilities, duties and responsibilities. We want to see your achievements, because responsibilities are already in the job description, you can copy paste, but we want to see the achievements. And this is how to do it in a way that is compelling and convincing. State the achievement and how you achieved it. That is, what did you do different? And what impact did you bring? And how can we measure that impact? If you can retool your CV to communicate that, you'll already be rising above the competition. Now the cover letter, very disappointing. Even when you write emails as cover letters, most young people don't put any subject. So you just find an email with no subject, very disappointing. Then they forget salutation. This part of dear so-and-so is not there at all. They just start writing and they don't even sign off. Once we see those kinds of cover letters, once we see those kinds of email, we know we are dealing with someone who is in a hurry, not keen, and not carrying out themselves with dignity, and will not be disciplined and diligent at workplace. So take time. It is less than 10 minutes. You can get a fitting subject for your email. Don't just send emails without a subject line. Then go to salutation. If you know the person's name, address the person with a surname. So it could be Dear Mr. Kamau. And then you sign off, yours sincerely. If you just know the title, then it could be chairman of department, geospatial engineering department, University of Nairobi, for example. Then you sign off with yours faithfully, because in this case, you are not mentioning the name up there, but mentioning the position. So these are just some simple, but very important tips that you need to know. Then volunteer experience. You want to know, are you volunteering? We have said that you need that volunteerism so that you can refine your skills and be the go-to person in the long run. So many people neglect their volunteering experience on CVs, but they are a significant factor, especially nowadays. And what are your other engagements apart from formal duties or formal training? Then referees also matter. And the major weakness I've noticed over time is that under referees, most of the young people do not include the variety we need. We need variety in terms of academic referee. So this is someone who taught you in college, for example, you are a former lecturer. We need a professional referee, someone you worked under, maybe during industrial attachment, during internship. And then we need a social referee. A social referee is someone who knows you well in the social circles. Could be your imam or your pastor, for example, or someone you have been engaging with in social events, maybe event planning, for example. So when you have those three, it gives us a better view of the kind of person you are, and we can call them up and get more information. Then accuracy of names and contact details matter. A good number of you say so-and-so is your referee, but the name is just Mr. Obuolo, Mr. Makopa. That is under referee, which means you can't even go to the level of getting the official names and the order, the right order of those names and the right title. You just put them there. And then some people also go ahead to put personal mobile numbers of the referees before telling them that so-and-so I am applying here. I have yours, my referee. Could I share your work mobile or your personal mobile? So when you are not sure or when you have not asked for that permission, please don't just go ahead and do it. Nowadays, we are living in an era of privacy, data privacy, and surveillance capitalism. So if the email is publicly shared, it is even better to use the email of the workplace. For example, if someone is your academic referee and is at the University of Nairobi, for example, or at Taveta University, if the work email address, which ends in .ac.ke, is working well, then it is better to use that one, because this is something that is work related. So much about that. And about email etiquette. How do you write those letters? How do you address people? Very important. So we have talked about the 4 Ds, 4 Es, and 4 Ps. Here I've given an example of an achievement. So this is for one of our students who sent me CV to review. Then I saw he wrote responsibilities, and then I changed that to give him a good example of an achievement. And this is a student of environmental engineering, Master of Science in Environmental Engineering. So this is a good example, because this person, after modifying this, you can see this person is giving you achievement instead of responsibility. This person developed new contents and a modern training platform for the course on Introduction to Climate Change. That is the achievement. Tailor-made for business executives based on the primary data I collected on stakeholder expectation. That is how this person did it. A unique way, using primary data and gauging stakeholder expectation. So it is not just the what, but also the how. And then the impact, the result was a 60% increase in new enrollment with a 100% completion rate. And how do we measure that? Evidence in the growing number of program graduates since 2021. So you can see, if you are a lecturer and you have given that as part of your achievements, it is better than writing lecturer climate change unit 1990 what to 1990 what at this institution. It just doesn't say much. So that's why we are talking about achievements instead of duties and responsibilities, which make your CVs longer but not impactful. So again, using the social media space, how consistent are you in social media? Are you creating an identity in social media, or you're just throwing words here and there? When it is time for politics, you are abusing people here and there. And when it is time for a forum like this, you appear to be the most professional person. Have you used the 4 Ps? And one of the Ps is principle, so that people can predict what you are going to comment about. So have a digital identity. So if you look at my Twitters, most of them are about issues of skills development, policy development, and evidence-based advice, thought leadership. So for example, this report was recently released, and this is part of having transferable skills. So we worked on this report with Iron Kenya, a well-known company in Kenya. And you can see the authors here. James Chikwati is the CEO of Iron Kenya, and I'm here, National Dero. So it is a global, I can say a global survey, because we interviewed the diaspora as well, the class of systems on the influence of China and EU engagement in Africa and how they are competing. So are you using social media to give people links to what you have done so that you can be more visible and people can link up with you so that you can deliver solutions? That is what I'm saying about exposure. And also I'm saying about one of the 4 V's, which is visibility, but have a digital identity so that people can know your consistency and what you stand for. Don't just use the social media irresponsibly. So facing the interview panel, I'm saying there are 22 keys to unlock the multi-locked door to the treasure house of engagement. And these 22 keys are from the 22 questions I'll share, just examples. And I also tell young people to remember these 7 C's. Before the interview panel, be confident, be creative, give compact statements, be constructive, be concise, be compelling, and be convincing. Those 7 C's are important. Someone is talking in the background. Richie and Amos. So maybe Frida can help out with that. So
I've muted them.
So the first question, and almost always this will be the first question. Tell us about yourself. And what have we told you? Tell us about yourself is not an invitation to bore us with what is already on your CV in terms of your name, when you were born, which primary school you went to, secondary school, university. No. Tell us about yourself is an invitation to give evidence why you deserve the position. And here is where now you tell us about the job and how you are qualified for it in terms of your training, in terms of your skills, in terms of your passion, your discipline. And if you can answer that way, you will be making a very big first step ahead of others. So be succinct, honest, authentic, and engaging. Telling the employer, the potential employer, how your skill sets, your training, your education match the job description and what you have done before to convince them that you can do it even better now when given a chance. So number 2, what are your strengths? Again, be specific and authentic and relevant, and give evidence of soft skills, the milestones you've achieved. What value are you adding to the team? Some people are just so self-centered that they don't even talk of the value they can add to the team. And their pronoun is always I did this, I did this, I did this, not we did this, we did this. So you're not a team player. And the interviewer is gauging very keenly and reading between the lines the kind of person you are. What are your weaknesses? Again, communicate that weakness through trust, authenticity, and humility to learn and grow. And don't set a weakness that will disqualify you, but rather show us how you have managed that weakness before to come out better. So we want to see your capacity to learn and your readiness to learn, so that with that weakness, you can still manage and overcome, and you have done it before, but not a grave one that will disqualify you for the job. Number 4, why should you be hired? What are your people skills? So why should we hire you? Again, it should be persuasive, composed, and confident. Demonstrate your qualification and experience and how they constitute a unique value proposition to the organization. So don't apply to join an organization, for example, S3 Eastern Africa, Oka Services Limited, without reading their vision and mission and core values. Read them before you go for the interview and tell them why hiring you will help deliver on that vision and mission. What are the mission critical activities? You must be diligent enough to pursue that. It is very disappointing. You find young people appearing before an interview panel and they don't even know the spelling of the company's name. They don't even know the vision of the company, what the company is dealing with. So if today the MD of Oka Services, Eric Nyadimo, invited you for an interview and asked you what they are dealing with, and you start saying, I think you will sell some drugs from Switzerland and all these which are high quality, tell me, if you get that job, it will be great sympathy, but it is a sympathy that will be regretted in the long run. Not even in the long run, in the short term. So, number 5, what do coworkers say about you? Again, don't brag. If there's humor, it must be good-natured humor. For example, someone was interviewed and he said people call him the human computer because of the way he cracks figures. So, don't brag, but be humble and show that there's something you are known for among your colleagues. What do you want? Why do you want to work here? Appreciate it as a great question and give evidence that you follow their stories and plans as well. So if it is Safaricom, for example, what is their target for this year? And how are you all going to help them to achieve that target? Maybe they have been missing that target all the time. And this time with you on the team, it will be achieved. When were you successful as a team? Again, communication skills, very important, interpersonal skills. Okay, and use the active voice. We did this, not this one was done, but we did it. Working with so and so, we managed to achieve this. Why are you leaving your current job? Again, be positive, expecting new challenges, and be prepared. And you want to be prepared for the next role. So it is true that once you have stayed in one position for 5 years, unless it is a company that hires to retire, some companies have strategies to hire to retire because of the work conditions and all that, the packages they have, the bottom line, the portfolio they have optimized. But in a good number of cases, after 5 years, you may say, no, I want new challenges. And I'm leaving not just because I don't like this place, but because I have a focus on what I need to achieve after this period. So a new workspace will offer me that opportunity. Explain your employment gap. What are your salary expectations? I'll go to number 10 instead, because for number 9, I've already explained there what you can do. So what are your salary expectations? Do some basic research to give a reasonable range. Don't just give us a fixed number, but give a reasonable range. And again, know that you usually ask for gross salary, not the net salary as such. And once you're given that range, you can convince the panel why you should fit in the mid-level or the top tier of that salary range based on your past achievements, your experience, your qualifications. Number 10, what do you do outside work? So volunteering comes in very handy, and we have talked about it. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So this is where we want to know, are you goal-oriented or task-oriented? And you can break it down into 2-year steps and show how that will benefit the employer. Don't be selfish and self-centered, rather be self-driven and selfless. What is the bigger picture? Now, how is your leadership style? Again, be authentic on your philosophy. That is why I challenge you, asking you, do you have a life philosophy? So can you match your philosophy with your leadership style? And that is what is guiding you. Are you relational, fair, and show how you have done this before on various projects? Do you have any questions for the panel? Okay, it is good practice to have a reasonable question for the panel that shows your passion for the brand. Companies spend a lot of money to develop brands and have slogans. For example, just this month, I was talking to secondary school students in this county, and I related to them using brands and using slogans of some vehicles they admire. For example, the slogan for Mercedes is engineered to move the human spirit. So you see, while other vehicles are moving the bodies, Mercedes-Benz is moving the spirit as well. So are you attached to that brand? And can you engage the panel attentively on how you are passionate for that brand and what you will do? And those questions will help to excite them and explain more about the brand. What of the slogan for a vehicle like Jaguar? It is 3 words: grace, space, pace. So you see the grace, the elegance of the vehicle, you see the space inside it, and you see the pace, the speed. And these slogans are pithy, impactful, concise, and constructive and creative ways of ensuring that you can engage customers. How do you see this interview progressing? Some people may ask you like that. Don't panic, but demonstrate your confidence and positivity. Tell us when you made a mistake. Now you can give a compelling story in active voice again. Don't be talking of this one was done this way, someone was sacked. No, it is better to give it in active voice. Who did what? And in your case, what did you do? And how did you learn from it? So this mistake should be a learning curve, part of the learning curve. So show the panel that you did a mistake, but you learned from it. And the next time you're given an assignment, you overcame that mistake and even finished better and ahead of time. Tell us when you worked with a difficult person. Again, you'll read how you can handle that. Number 18, share when you persuaded someone to change opinion. Be warm and smile. Some people are so dull during interviews. The face is distorted. You wonder what happened. Who is really ready to work with such a person? So during that interview session, please give a smile. It costs nothing, but it means a lot in terms of your interpersonal skills. So as we move toward the end, when did you set a goal and achieve it? Again, you demonstrate how you were disciplined and consistent, stepwise, still completing the task. When did you surpass expectations, handle the same way as above? When did you handle pressure? Again, emphasize effective delivery, be friendly, glorify teamwork, strategy, prioritization, and creative problem solving. Now, the end of the interview, the parting shot. If you have to give any parting shot, as if you are confident you will do, then be genuine and specific in your appreciation. Thank the panel. In some cultures, you can even send a thank you note. Even for CVs, there are cultures. You remember from the outline, we had culture and accuracy. So there are cultures, some established cultures. For example, in Germany, people put their photos on CVs. But in other countries, you don't find them putting photos on CVs unless you are specifically asked to put it. So in Kenya, for example, you don't normally put your photos on a CV, but in Germany, it will be expected that you put it there. So read about the culture, the organization you are applying to join, and that will help you to modify your CV accordingly to resonate with the cultural expectation, because we have the people we call low context cultures and high context cultures. You need to know the people you're dealing with. So far, so good. So know about the Sustainable Development Goals. We can be asked anytime as a university graduate, and they are just 17. And you know the names of more than 17 classmates. So you cannot give an excuse that 17 is a large number. How come you know the names of more than 100 people in this world? How did you know those names? It is as easy when it comes to knowing these SDGs. There are only 17, and you can know them using this graphic and read more about them in terms of the targets and the indicators. Productivity tools, data sites, I've given them here. You can ask yourself, which ones have you been using? For example, have you ever visited our world in data? Maybe you are complaining, you are asked about the population of Zambia. You say, how will I get that? Can you give me the number of someone at Zambia's National Bureau of Statistics, but if you go to our world in data, you'll get all that worldometer, accurate to last month, for example. When it comes to calculators, some of you are struggling so much but your good smartphones, you have not even installed HandyCalc, which has all the operators you need as engineering graduates and special experts. It has all those angles. It can draw graphs, and it is free. You can even go get currency exchange rates real time on it. You can get those constants we use in engineering. All this, and you say you are not privileged enough. OneNote, you have it as part of Microsoft Office. Are you even using it? OneNote. And then when it comes to programming, have you ever visited Khan academies, solving challenges, these links, Coursera, to train yourself? When it comes to Gmail, you even use G Drive, or you're always going for the largest hard disk space, yet you can store some items in the cloud. So if your computer is stolen, you start crying that you've lost everything, yet you are in an era when you can store your documents in Dropbox, in G Drive, so that even if your computer is stolen, you can still get it in OneDrive. For example, if you have an account, Microsoft account, you just need to log in when you get a new computer and the data will be synchronized, okay? Scholarships. I've shared some links for scholarship information, and these are some countries that give scholarships. References, I talked about this one. Motivation letter is key when you are applying for these scholarships. So I also challenge you to look at this. Have you been using them? Evernote, Edge collections on your browser from Edge. Have you even used it? Calendar, have you even using your calendar to program the day? And some of these freeware, Snap, QGIS, dictionary.com, which can give you definitions of words for on a daily basis so that you can be improving your vocabulary on a daily basis. Challenge yourself to be productive with the smartphones you have in this era. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end. And at the end, you'll find links to further reading material. For example, this new book, Project Designed for Geomatics Engineers and Surveyors, 2nd edition. It is ready for pre-ordering. It has 12 chapters and has captured new developments in the geomatics and surveying industry. You need to get a copy, and it is co-authored by Kenyans, all the 3 University of Nairobi alumni. So there we have myself as one of the co-authors. Then we have a senior professor, also Kenyan, living in the US and working there for NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, called Clement Ogaja. And we also have a young surveyor called Derek Kome, who has specialized so much in the area of uncrewed aerial systems. He's a co-author here. And this is one way of mentoring young people so that we can come up with books that feed the needs of our graduates and experts. And then you'll find more from this link, some books that you can download on various topics. This book, The Future of Africa in the Post-COVID-19 World, has a very extensive chapter, which I authored, and it is about youth and unemployment. This one is free to download, so you can download it from here. It was sponsored by a German political foundation, and it is a free resource that you need to read. And there are many other authors and co-authors from our local universities and from the academic diaspora. So read and get to know more about these things we have discussed today. So I also end by saying that you must avoid plagiarism. So if you have to use these slides to train somewhere, you must get permission from the author, myself, and that will be good for us as a community and for intellectual honesty. So thank you, and I believe we have gone through the agenda, and once Frida shares with you the PowerPoint, you'll be aggressive enough to change your profile within the next 1 week, and I'll be able to meet different people, different young people in the next 1 week. Thank you, and may we have a fruitful interactive session. And I'll request the chair, Frida, just to take a break of 5 minutes. Maybe you have music interlude. I'm coming back after 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nation. That was quite extensive. I've personally learned so many things. One of them being the question that you asked, are you busy being busy or are you busy being productive? Many times we find ourselves doing a lot of things, but at the end of the day, you find that you've not achieved many of the objectives. So in essence, you are busy being busy and not really being objective. I also was excited to learn about the 4 V's, the 3 P's, and the 4 D's. That was the 4 V's, the vision, visibility, value, and volume. For the 3 P's, it's the purpose, principles, and passion. And the 4 D's were diligence, discipline, and determination. Or diligence, discipline, determination, and dignity. So as we wait for Nation to come back, we can just get the takeaways from the members. What have you learned so far as we wait for Nation to sip some water and come back, answer the questions? You may raise your hand or unmute yourself. Someone is raising their hand. You can unmute and speak, Desmond.
Hello, Frida, and everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to learn from Nation. I've learned a lot, and even whatever you have said, that are you busy being busy, or are you busy being productive? So the session has been so amazing. I've learned a lot and looking forward to go through the document once again as I continue making more notes from this presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Desmond. We can have another takeaway from someone. Adili, are you with us? Okay, as we wait for Adili, Kadwar, yes.
Hi,
okay,
everyone.
Adili, go ahead.
I do not have much to add, but I am glad that we had Nation for the session. He is quite insightful, and hopefully we can all adhere to what he said, especially on this last side, because you need to read a lot, and maybe we can have a follow-up, as he said, in the next few weeks, and maybe we can all be different professionals from now on. That's all. Thank you, Frida.
Thank you, Adili. In the comment section, I see Vincent saying it was intense and an insightful session from Nation. Thank you. I'm sure when he's back, he'll get to read the comment. Rose Ann Otieno has learned the 7 C's for an interview. That is confidence, creative, compact. I've lost the thread. Yeah, so she has learned the 7 C's. Confident, creative, compact, constructive, concise, compelling, and convincing. When you go for an interview, go with the attitude that whoever you are meeting there, they are not enemies, but they are there to, as a gateway to you getting the job. That way, you're not going to have confidence issues. We had Kendawar, you can unmute. I see you've lowered your hand, I've missed your name, but kindly unmute and speak.
Hello, could it be me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for this informative session. I want to believe that I have learned so much. Just even there are silly mistakes that we normally carry on, like even in cover letter, where when we don't know in the salutation, we end up saying maybe yours sincerely, and I think I've learned from that going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kadwar. We have Lotdoi Ekiru. Samuel, you can unmute and speak.
All protocols observed. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ekiru Samuel. I would like to comment on what Nation said about how we conduct outside there as far as social media is concerned. You find out that most of the young affairs or most of the young people, they use their social media in ways that are not pleasing. For example, you find you are abusing someone in terms of election, but when it comes to these forums for, let's say, these kind of meetings, you conduct yourself well. But when you go outside there in the social media, you are behaving in a different way. I think he's saying that we need to be people who are more concerned, like about other people, you know. So that is a point to take home. So anyone outside here, if you are using your social media in the right way, big up to you. If you are abusing other people, kindly rectify. Yes, that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lotodoi. We still have another raised hand. You can unmute and speak. Okay, in the comment section, I see Desmond also has another comment. Desmond, you can unmute and speak. I've skipped your comment.
Okay, thank you so much. I was just I was just referring to the first presentation about joining circles from Madame Gloria, and I was requesting if she can share further about the circles that she can recommend us to join, and with the interest rate and everything about joining these circles, because I would like to join one, but I don't know which one is good more than the other. Thank you.
Okay, let me see whether we still have Gloria in the meeting. Valia Awinja, are you still with us? Okay, about circles, it's best to do like a due diligence of the circle that you want to join. Mostly the best circles are the ones that are linked to various professionals or parastatals. For example, we have circles that are linked to the teachers like Mwalimu Circle and Mentor. We have circles that are linked to parastatals and institutions such as the police force or Kenya Power. Yeah, I think those are the most stable circles to join in, but for the specific one also, you need to join a circle that you know at least one or two people. You can influence people to join in the same circle, because what the circles do, when you want to take a loan, you will need guarantors, and the guarantors need to be in the same circle. So even as you look for a circle to join in, yeah, I see Joel is speaking of the same. Yeah, so as you look for a circle to join in, look for a circle where you have your friends there or your circle or relatives in there, so that when you need to take a loan, you have at least 3 or 4 people who can guarantee you. Joel, you can unmute and carry on the circle question. Joel Simiyu is also a council member at the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya.
Hello. Hi, Frida.
Hi, Joel. Hi.
Hi, how are you? No, it was
I'm
just
good.
making a comment on what had been asked about, but the bottom line is that circle should be where you are looking for a loan, I want to be guaranteed. Same. You are able to overally
Oh, thank you. Yes, John, we also have Wakadiri Sacco, which is linked to surveyors, and it is also a stable Sacco. Yeah, Nashon, kindly confirm whether you are back so that we can carry on with the Q&A session.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, the members here are happy, as you can see from the comments, and whether you are listening, and if you are listening in, we are happy for the wonderful presentation and the insightful and extensive presentation. So we have a few questions. One
Frida,
was, yes.
Frida, sorry, I joined you guys late. I'm George Ike.
Okay.
Can you hear me? I'm George Ike. I work for the Nature Conservancy. I do geospatial engineering, application in conservation. Actually, I joined because I'm an amicus curiae. I'm a friend of the surveyors.
Okay.
Nation, we joined the university together, but I went to KU to do environmental science. But then he joined with his peers like Kenya Dimo, is a surveyor too, Eric. And then while working in craft, I worked with Florence Mishori, who is a surveyor too. And then in our field here, we also do a lot of surveying, data collection. So basically, I'm not a newbie, I'm an oldie, but of course, a friend of the surveyors. And Nation also happens to be coming from my home county. So I always follow you.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, and happy to know that you are here, George. Thank you for your support.
Karibu Tura.
Thank you so much, George. Yeah. So, Nation, you have one question from Victor Chepcheng. He asked, while writing a referee, do you use the current occupation or the one you had while you are engaged? I don't know whether the question is clear or you need Victor to unmute and rephrase.
Yeah, maybe you may unmute. You may unmute because your occupation changes. For example, in my case, some years ago, I would say I was business development manager at Oka Services, but now I'm a lecturer at Taveta University. So the occupation has changed. You know, occupation and profession are different. Your profession may remain, but occupation, what you are engaged to do is different. So when I'm writing my CV now, I can still write referees in the organizations I worked with earlier. It doesn't have question he can tell us. If not, then he can elucidate further.
Victor?
My question was about the referee himself, not you, because you have changed the profession. I'm saying if the referee changes their job from a different workstation to the other, but you engaged in a different professional ground.
Yeah, you're still right, because the referee is also a human being needy of career development. So you just write the new location. For example, I remember we had a lecturer called Professor Kiama Chalo. Used to be at the University of Nairobi. Then he went to the RCMRD. Then I know he must be somewhere else now. So if I'm writing him as my academic referee, I just need to write where he's presently, because even his official email address will reflect where he is presently. The landline will be where he is presently. But of course, there's that connection that he taught me, and that cannot change. And if I worked under him as a professional referee, that cannot change. People can be appointed. You see, Professor Bitange Ndemo is now ambassador in Belgium. But if he taught you at the University of Nairobi, that has not changed. But now you have to write his location is in Belgium as ambassador. I hope that clears the air.
Yes.
Thank you. On the referee's question still, Mr. Nation, is it wise to write a referee from the company that you are currently working in?
Of course, it is even recommended, I can say so, but there are some dynamics that may make you decide otherwise. For example, if you think the person won't support your movement to a new place, but I've seen employers who understand upward mobility or horizontal mobility if you want new challenges. Upward, if maybe it is still the same line of business, but you have been offered a better place. I've seen employers who say, yes, we are very happy if you can go there because it is an assignment at a different level, but please keep the network strong because even for our company, by you going there, we'll have expanded our footprint. And now if I want to engage with that company, I'll find a first point of contact or a point of first contact. So gauge the relationship and act wisely. That is what I will say.
Thank you. We have one comment from Roseanne who was feeling targeted. She's still in the Times New Roman era of writing the CV. And she's thankful for the new format and the info on referees. I think we don't have another question unless someone wants to unmute, we can close the session. Oh, Kadwar, then kindly unmute and ask.
Well, I'd commented, but then I can still proceed to ask. First, I must appreciate the precise and eloquent presentation from Nason. It has taught me a number of things. While you are doing the greener, you are talking about greener and smarter cities, you did mention of countries that are far from Kenya, that is Finland, and also Germany. So I was wondering, where is the position of Kenya in adoption of greener cities now that we are hit by climate change? And also on the referees part, you also talked of the diversity. So maybe I thought maybe in working on your referees, you should also be thinking of having maybe a male or so. Is it correct? And also maybe members of your tribe and all that, maybe to expand on that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. On the smart and green cities, when we are doing benchmarking, we go for what we call best practice. So these advanced economies have gone ahead of us in terms of technology, even in terms of political maturity. You'll agree with me that it will be very hard for you to get some positions in county government, even if you're the most qualified person around, because of the level of our political engagement as of now. But we'll be maturing just the way those countries have matured, so that they are able to put merit. There is a well-known professor from Malaysia who is calling it MPH, merit, pragmatism, and honesty. So this MPH, merit, pragmatism, and honesty has taken those countries far ahead of us, such as Finland, Germany. You realize a minister can resign just because of a statement he made that was not displaying moral rectitude. And you find a minister resigning just because of plagiarism, that he wrote something and did not acknowledge the author or the person who owns that quote. So you find professors being included in boards and in design for transport and logistics infrastructure for cities. So what I'm saying is that the reason why we are referring to Finland, Germany, Hong Kong when it comes to smart and green cities is because they are now our best practice and we can aspire to be like them. We call them aspirators, but we also have comparators, people we are struggling together with in this challenge and are trying to show good examples. So comparators, we can talk of maybe in Africa, we can also refer to Ghana and Nigeria, they are World Green Building Council. And even in Kenya, we have a good example, the UNEP Green Building. So that's a good example with a green building prototype. So in Kenya, I think if we can have that political goodwill even for Nairobi metropolitan region, we can gather some lessons and implement them for green and smarter cities. Geospatial experts like you can give us a good metrics for parametric policymaking so that you can hand it to Sakaja, the governor, hand it over to him and have him implement. For example, one way of monitoring our greenness is to map and tell us what areas under parks, areas that are green, and what areas are just parking lots, urban heat islands. So that ratio can be monitored over time, and we can say, are we progressively becoming green from a GS-based metric and hence parametric policy making? So in Kenya, we can move steps and gather milestones. We also have Nairobi Metropolitan Growth Strategy, a world-class African metropolis. That is a report we worked on well at Kipra in the year 2008, and it has spelled out all those areas that we need to deliver on for a smart and greener Nairobi. Thank you. And then you talked of diversity in terms of referees, and here I would say go more for the substantive roles, the functions, and these functions are not really respecting gender. There may be what we call path dependence. Path dependence means historically, if men have been occupying some positions and such as engineers, then over time you'll find engineers are just men. But that is also changing with time because you need time to reverse historical trends, and you can see that is changing progressively, but still you'll find the majority in those careers are still of one gender. So what I'm saying is that you don't need to force yourself to diversify gender on your CV at the expense of the substantive mentorship or referee role. So if your best referee for that position is a man, just go for that man. If it is a woman, just go for that woman. But don't mix and match just to impress, because it is more of the substantive role. I think that also makes it clearer for you.
Noted. Thank you.
I see Rosanne Otieno's hand up, so maybe Frida can guide.
Yes, thank you, Nation. Roseanne, you can unmute and ask.
Morning, everyone. Sorry, I have a call, but I hope I'll be clear now. So my question was on social media. You say that Nation mentioned that, when you're volunteering or doing other hobbies, you find that someone might be using their social media on one side more than the professional aspect. Okay, like for my case, I am a model apart from being a geospatial expert. So most of my social media, you'll find me posting stuff on modeling and fashion. So does that interfere with the job market in GIS? Maybe if you could advise on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Roseanne. And that means you are also telling us about the other things you are doing, maybe your hobby. And because you have many platforms, someone talked of LinkedIn. LinkedIn won't, naturally it won't allow you to do that, but LinkedIn is the space for professionals. So that is where you display your CV. So you can open many platforms. So you can use LinkedIn for GIS, to show what you're doing in GIS, for professional development, career development. And then you also ask some people to recommend you on LinkedIn. And then you can have connections including those to whom you can send direct messages. So you can use LinkedIn for that. Then Instagram you can use for modeling, for example. Twitter, I have found Twitter is very good for quick communication. And once you have many followers, for example, now I've already crossed the 1,000 mark. When I post something, it is like many people can read it at once. And that means I'm also expanding my thought leadership influence. So I use Twitter for thought leadership, and I'm on Facebook also. On Facebook, I also use for thought leadership, especially my hobby of modeling, but now modeling to advise action, modeling to advise policy action, for example, based on mathematical models. And just for fun, sometimes how mathematics can be fun. For example, you use it to predict the outcome of World Cup matches based on some parameters, and you find you get it correct maybe 90% of the time. So you don't cry over the 10%, you've not got it right, but you celebrate the 90%. And so there are so many platforms. So what I'll encourage you is just to open as many as possible and use Instagram, for example, what it is best for, LinkedIn for GIS, that professional line, and then you'll be home and will be good for you out of that diversity.
Thank you, Nashon. I see David had typed a question, but his hand is up. It'd be good if we heard from him. David, you can unmute.
Thank you. I was asking, I wanted to ask a question in regards to young people here. What would the national advise when at the formative stages you change your different occupation that is completely different from your profession, and then when you are in your 40s, you like to come back and do things related to your profession. So what would be the advice that will guide you, because normally you might be yourself, like someone did surveying and now they ready to budget and they practice party for 15 years, then they won't come back to your market or surveying. What will be the advice? That's my question.
I'll ask Frida to summarize, because there was a lot of base on each side. So Frida, if you got it clearly on your side, can you summarize it?
Okay, what I got from whatever he had typed, he's asking in a case where you have changed your career. So what he had typed was, what would you advise someone who has picked up an occupation that is completely different to the profession?
Okay, that one I personally encourage, because we are saying that education, formal education, opens the door for you to be engaged as a global citizen. And there's nothing wrong with using your talents. Maybe, as you saw from that survey, a good number of people just discover their talents after at tertiary level or after graduating. So should you remain in that prison that I was trained to be this and this is what I must do for life? Rather, you should be creative enough to ask yourself, how can I use this foundation I got now to move into what I can do so well because of my talents? And to me, it will not be like work, it will be a way of life. We say that when you are making success of anything, it is no longer work, but a way of life. For example, my example, I was trained as a surveyor, University of Nairobi, American Wing. We used to call it Department of Surveying. Now it has changed name to, I think, Department of Geospatial and Space Technology. And as a surveyor, the first assignment I had was as a tunnel surveyor, that is engineering, applied engineering surveying. Then from there, did some irrigation surveys, and then went for further studies in an area called resources engineering. So more of dealing with the resources, but I still find the basics I got in surveying critical to coming up with models that incorporate geospatial parameters. So when you are talking of social justice, when we are talking of distributional justice, you find that those geospatial parameters come in handy, and with GIS, remote sensing, now you can visualize better, and you can help people visualize better what you are modeling to help calibrate policy and strategy. So you can say I've moved into another space altogether, which is more into natural resource management from research and policy perspective. And that is why you don't see me so often with you for cadastral surveys or for road surveys, but still I have the training and the qualifications and the experience. And maybe from the last page, I gave you some links to the book that we have just co-authored. And that book is so interesting. For example, there's a chapter there I wrote on engineering and mining surveys. And now when you are talking of mining, I'm saying it is not only on land, it is also deep sea exploration, and how laser technologies, for example, green laser technologies, can help us to come up with better exploration, topobathymetric maps, and safer navigation. And now you can see even what we call autonomous underwater vehicles. They still need geolocation parameters. So I'm saying that disciplinary boundaries are becoming thinner and thinner, and they are blurring, they are getting blurred. So the world we are facing is a world of interdisciplinary research. So don't create boundaries. Those are just human-made boundaries, but your brain doesn't have those boundaries. Your brain allows you to be creative, and what you've learned you can now modify to answer key questions facing society. Thank you.
Thank you, Nation. We have one last question from Martin Otto. What postgraduate diploma courses would you recommend to be in position to manage larger projects? I think this is a case where, yes.
Yeah, as you have rightly said, project management. So you need a course in project management, and it depends on which kind of projects you want to manage. Are they more of human resource management related challenges, or construction management related? So we even have postgraduate management courses, but they focus on different areas of management. For example, here at Taita Taveta University, we have a postgraduate course, which is an MBA, but it is a unique MBA because it is MBA in natural resource management, not human resource management. So the graduates of that program are very well versed with the challenges of natural resource management, different paradigms of sustainability. When we talk of weak sustainability, strong sustainability, when we talk of natural resource accounting, how can you say that we have an ecological debt or ecological credit? And when it comes to the mineral resource sector, what are the key challenges in that sector? And how can we avoid over concentration on a sector that is non-renewable at the expense of agriculture, for example? And so look at the area you want to specialize it. Is it construction management? Is it natural resource management? Is it human resource management? Then that will help you to target the right one. And in Kenya, we have, I've told you, Taita Taveta University, but also Strathmore has very good courses, even for engineers who want to go into managing big projects. Strathmore University has very good management, such management courses that you can do after graduation or at postgraduate level. Thank you.
Thank you, Nation. For that question, you can also check out the Project Management Institute of Kenya for the PMP certifications. So just skimming through the comments, we have Emmanuel Logos. Emmanuel is requesting you to add the 4th P. You have purpose, principles, and passion, that you can add plan to be the 4th P. Then we have Kailin Kiplagat is thanking for the session. Kipri Shadrach, Vincent Caleb Yegon, Caesar Owade, Amos Ngetich, thank you for your kind comments. We have Roseanne, John Munji, Magdalene, and many others whom have not read. We are totally thankful for your kind comments. I've seen we've been joined by Director of Surveys Maritime, and Maritime, kindly you can unmute and greet your people. Okay, so I also want to mention Eric and Brian, who are members of the Young Surveyors Committee. They have been with us during the session. We have other council members, such as the Chair, Land Surveyors Chapter, Erastus Chege. Thank you for joining us today. So to bring us to our close, I welcome Ayub Naburi to give the closing remarks. Ayub, if you're with us, kindly go ahead and do the closing remarks.
Thank you. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, thank you. Mine is to appreciate our very able speaker, Mr. Nation, for the great insights. We appreciate you for taking your time to prepare, to impact the lives of the young surveyors, and to impact their destiny, or rather our destiny as young surveyors. Thank you, Frida, and your team for the organization and the coordination. I pray that we'll continue having more of this. I also want to thank every young surveyor for attending and actively participating in this session. We can see how COVID has helped us in a way. Before COVID, we were not embracing virtual sessions that much. But due to COVID, we've embraced virtual sessions, and I think it's a nice way of being able to be on your desk and at the same time follow on presentations. So it's very encouraging. Maybe just a few notices. One, we are having chapter meetings, a number of them the coming week, and next week but one. So for those, I know all of us, we're in specific chapters. We need to be able to register for those meetings and attend, also give our comments. Then next month, we'll be having African Regional Conference starting on 10th to 11th in Sumu. We encourage the young surveyors to register for the same. Registration fee for the young surveyors is 15,000. Then for the ones who are not young surveyors but they're members, 20,000. And for the non-members, it's 30,000. So we encourage to register and pay up. The program is almost out, and it's quite a detailed one. I know will be impacted. During that conference, we'll have a young surveyors dinner. And the charge is, the fee for that particular dinner is 3,500. This is an opportunity again for us to come and bond, come and learn, and even network. So we encourage to pay up for the dinner, even as we purpose to meet in Kisumu for the conference. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the Secretariat for the coordination and the support. Do I have any other comment, unless there is anything from Frida? Or we just invite somebody to close the word of prayer?
Yeah, thank you, Ayub. We can invite someone to pray, but just before praying, for those of us who have joined and they are not yet members of ISK, it is now very easy to join ISK since the application is made online. Head over to our website, www.isk. You'll see the joining link. If you are a student member, you do not need to have the recommender and the proposer. And if you are joining as a graduate member, you need to have those two. If you don't have any full member who is already a member of ISK, you can reach out to me. I will facilitate that. So without further ado, thank you, Nation, and we can end with a word of prayer. Any volunteer?
Okay, I'll pray. We can all believe as we pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we give you all the glory. We say thank you for such a wonderful session. Thank you, King of all glory, for our speaker. Thank you, Jehovah, my Lord. May you increase him even in knowledge, O Most High, and even help us, King of all kings, to make corrections and to make adjustments where necessary, O Most High. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. Thank you even for the organizers of this session, O Most High. May you continue increasing them, my Lord, in knowledge and wisdom. We give you all the glory even as we are departing, O Most High. Thank you, Jehovah, our God, till we meet again. Receive all the glory, receive all the honor. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. We wish you all a productive day and a happy weekend ahead.